Geriatric House of Tards star Nancy Pelosi wants to deprive the president of the certainty of acquittal of the non-existent charges that are the so-called articles of impeachment. She can't hand over anything to the Senate, as there is nothing to hand over. The delay's only purpose is to avoid being exposed as the lying, scheming, traitorous scumbags that she and her clan really are. The president had let all of this bullshit play out because he knows if he were to invoke the Insurrection Act, the demon rats and their co-conspirators in the mainstream media would call it an attempt at a dictatorship. Once the clown show is over and the curtain falls, will be the start of another, way more interesting show. Arrests of traitors and televised trials aired from the tropical paradise Guantanamo Bay. Barring that, the potential exists for a mass uprising starting in Virginia, where residents and out-of-state supporters alike, millions, are set to descend on the Capitol and remove the Constitution-trashing governor from office at gunpoint if the demon rat-controlled state government passes gun confiscation laws. The Virginia National Guard, if ordered to confiscate weapons, will not comply with the order, and instead arrest whoever gives such an order. We will see how this all plays out very shortly. I can tell you one thing for certain. If any UN troops show up, they will be met with lethal force. They will be considered invaders and shot on sight. Patriots in this country are not standing for this bullshit any longer. Violations of our rights will be prosecuted with extreme prejudice. It will progress to the point, after an initial incident sets it off, that anyone who merely advocates for socialism in any form, anywhere within the boundaries of this republic, will be summarily hung for inciting insurrection and treason. The purge of the religion of peace will soon follow. We have all witnessed the complete lack of character and witnessed the public admissions of their tactics and their guilt, and the lack of any effort at all by the world's most sophisticated law enforcement organization to do anything about it. And we are supposed to trust these people? I should think not.
You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made.
And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
And what I've suggested, if now, because he's the nominee for the party, and he's entitled to briefings from the CIA, for example, I said publicly, give him fake briefings. Pretend you're briefing. Don't tell him anything that you don't want to get out. And that's how I feel about it. I think that the man is a loose cannon. I think he's done so much to hurt our country with our international relations already.
But as a Republican nominee, isn't he entitled to get those briefings?
Give him fake briefings.
What does that even mean?
It means they'll tell him stuff. He won't know the difference.
You're basically telling the intelligence community to lie to him.
No, I'm not going to lie to you, but I still have to tell you everything.
And we've seen the disgusting displays of their morality. In my time, children were taught to look up to their leaders as role models. What the fuck is a child supposed to think when he sees shit like this?
If you vote for Hillary Clinton, I will give you a blowjob, okay?
And you have to wonder at the depravity of those people cheering that either would like an AIDS-infected blowjob from this slut, or think it's funny, or believe it's appropriate for a candidate for President of the United States that would permit such a thing at her convention. These people are morally sick, and thank God there are many more of us than there are of them. You also have to wonder after this great president gave up his life of wealth and fame and literally painted a JFK-style bullseye on his back, put his family in harm's way, and in 3 years accomplished much more than anyone before him, why demon rats and celebrities and the media are still against him. I'll tell you why. They're afraid of being exposed for their abject corruption and their sex crimes against children. What they don't realize is that they've already been exposed. We exposed them years ago. However, even we are under the misperception that most people are not awake yet. I ask you, what the fuck is it going to take? If you're not awake by now, you're in a fucking coma, and only the hand of Jesus Christ himself will raise you from the ranks of the mental flatliners. I've long ago given up on flatliners, pulled the plug, stopped the life support machines from that incessant beeping, and be done with the dead. Why would you or I continue to poke corpses that will never be revived, and all they're good for is the oral release of putrescent flatulence whenever you poke the bloat? We have much better things to do. We must ensure that our children and grandchildren learn from all of this, because we sure as hell didn't. We were too busy with our matrix illusion, believing the corporate news, while the greatest parts of our lives were spent feeding the beast of endless wars and giveaways to other countries that hate us but love our money. I say, fuck them. Not that I don't have compassion. I do. Compassion drove me to bankruptcy. You can't save the world. I have all to do me. To hell with all these invaders who illegally vote Demon Rat. Now it's time to do us. Charity starts at home. It's time to disconnect ourselves as a nation from all of these necessary evil alliances our politicians have gotten us into for the last 100 years. If I were sitting behind the Resolute desk, I would call the Habibs in Saudi Arabia and give them a message from we, the people. Hello, Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. This is the President of the United States, Donald Trump. The people of this country want me to convey a message to you. Do you know those 10 million barrels of oil you pump out of the ground every day? My people want me to tell you to refine that crude oil into Vaseline and rub it on your camel's ass because the petrodollar is done. Have a nice day. We have seen that demon rats care not a whit about human suffering, and any tragedy is exploited as a means to further victimize the unfortunate and exploit the generosity of those who are moved by compassion to do without themselves in order to do what the Lord commanded us all to do. Everything the government or the mainstream media tells you is a lie. It's a lie even though there would be no advantage to lie and no consequences for merely telling the truth, and conversely advantages for telling the truth and consequences for lying. They lie because it's all they know how to do. They accuse others of doing what they've done in a very strange series of psychological projection that is reminiscent of siblings blaming each other for the empirical reality of an empty cookie jar. Lying is all they know how to do because their cohorts in the media never called them on it. They have profited immensely for over 100 years by gaslighting the American people and the world, and the mainstream media went right along with their bullshit stories from the JFK assassination to Oklahoma City to 9/11, Iraq weapons of mass destruction, Afghanistan, Benghazi, Russia collusion, Uranium One, and Ukraine quid pro quo. The demon rats openly advertise that they want to raise your taxes up to 75% of your income. But the good part is that you'll get everything free. Tons of free shit that you didn't know you needed and never wanted before because you couldn't afford it. Now, since it's free, I'd like a blue Hummer H1 with the turbo engine and the snorkel kit. And I'm not worried about the gasoline or the insurance, because that's free too. We did come up with the solution to the problem of cow farts, because nothing smells worse than grass-fed cow farts on global warming hot and humid summer days. Nobody has to worry. You'll still be able to get your steaks, ribs, and burgers, because instead of killing the cows or recycling methane with rectal Foley catheters and vacuum pumps to use as cooking fuel, we'll just give them a few ounces of Beano in their feed. The Green New Deal. Problem solved. So you see, us demon rats really do have a viable agenda, and yes, there are a few problems we still have to work out, like how we're going to pay for all this free shit. But not to worry, we know people at the Federal Reserve and they can print up as much money as we'll ever need. Pelosi is now caught. If she sends the bullshit to the Senate, it will be dismissed with prejudice. If she doesn't send the articles, everybody, even those who are asleep, will know the whole thing was one big scam from the moment the oven mitt fashionista lost a rigged election. Either way, the caca hits the air impeller. The whole idea that quid pro Joe Biden was ever an opponent that Trump had to worry about, much less strong-arm Ukraine to dig up dirt on, is ludicrous on its face, since Trump fills sports stadiums to standing room-only capacity on the streets up to 5 times the venue capacity, while Biden is hard-pressed to fill a grammar school basketball court. The only reason he's running is so he can say that the Ukraine investigation is because he's a threat to Trump's inevitable 2020 landslide win. And get this, if you believe Percocet Pelosi doesn't have her grubby geriatric claws in one or more of these foreign aid kickback deals, you need to brush up on your discernment skills. If you believe that depriving the president of a victory on the border wall issue is the reason they're against it, think drug and child trafficking and $4.5 million homes on a congressional salary. There is literally no crime these people have not committed. None. Nobody was supposed to investigate any of this after the Hildebeest won the presidency. The clown show is now over, folks, but make no mistake, they'll keep concocting their bullshit stories until the good people in this country rise up and demand justice, or finally have their fill and take it into their own hands. If that's what it takes, so be it. I'm down. How about you? Please subscribe to our backup channels, Net4Truth USA 2 Patriot channel, BitChute.com/net4Truth USA, and drop.space/@Net4Truth USA. We fly so close to the target, we are on our 5th fighter jet. We will be relentless and persistent until the enemies of freedom are defeated. You can support this channel by using the links in the description, but for a $100 donation, I will personally send you a autographed hardcover special edition copy of Land of Childhood's Fears. Also, visit my bookstore at lulu.com/Net4Truth USA. If you are viewing this video on BitChute, you can use the links in the description to support us, or simply click the green $ dot on our video to support this channel. Thank you. Links are in the description section.